I am in so much trouble when I get home. This is proof, not that any more is really needed, that I shouldn't be sent shopping or left unattended or unsupervised for any great amount of time, because I have this habit of doing stupid things, impulsive things. So 3 hours ago I was sent shopping with my little list of things to get, and I set off in a Range Rover, and now I'm on my way home without the Range Rover and without the shopping. This is going to be a bollocking of monumental proportions. So I've been out and bought a second-hand used vehicle. Don't judge me. I'm sure we can all relate. We've all done it. I know I have. This won't be the last time that I go out and do something like this. It's certainly not the first time I've done it. Right, I suppose we better pull over and gather our thoughts how we're going to explain this one, and I'll tell you a bit more about what's happened. Oh, I'm dead. But what exactly have I bought? Well, it's an Audi A3 1.6 TDi Ultra SE with a 6-speed manual box, registered in September 2015 and about 120,000 miles on the clock. So here I am, sat about a quarter of a mile away from home, trying to gather my thoughts and ponder how I'm going to explain this one away. And long story short, sent to the supermarket just with a little list of groceries to acquire. And as I shuffled across the car park, not really enjoying the idea of being there, I seen a bloke that I knew. I don't know him really well, but reasonably well, and he looked even more downtrodden and beaten than I was feeling. And I automatically assumed it was because he was at the supermarket the same as me. I said, "You all right?" And he said, "No, not really." I said, "I've had a bit of a day of it so far." "Oh dear, why is that? Is it because you've got to go shopping?" "Oh no, this is just the last bit of making my day terrible. I've actually been to sell a car." And I said, "All right, how did it go?" "No, I didn't sell it." "What, didn't they turn up?" "No," he said, "it's one of these buy any car businesses." "Oh right." He said, "I got a quote online which was lower than I wanted to sell it for, but I thought okay," and I went to great lengths explaining the condition and the mileage and everything else, and they said, "Bring it down and we'll sort the deal out." And when I get there, they spent 30 minutes wandering around, sucking air through his teeth and deducting for every minor thing that they can find, and I ended up with an offer 40% less than the one they gave me online, and I ain't having that. So I walked away. I said, "I think you've done the right thing there." He said, "But now I've got to go shopping, go home and get a bollocking for bringing the car back." "Oh right, what car is it?" And he tells me, and I think, oh, that's interesting, because I myself am looking for a fuel efficient, cheap to tax, cheap to insure, small car. Not for me, but I've got a very specific purpose in mind for this small car. I need something 9 or 10 years old, you know, lowish mileage and in reasonable condition. Doesn't matter if there's some damage and things doing it, because I'll sort that out. And I said, "Okay, let's go and have a look at it." And he says, "Are you interested?" And I said, "Well, I might be." And off we wander. I have a look round it. There's some obvious damage, and some of it I can see why the business is deducting money from their original quote, although to arrive at the final figure they gave them at 40% less than that was just taking the piss. And I thought, okay, so quick car vertical, told me everything I needed to know. And despite what you think about car vertical, when you stood in a car park at the supermarket and spent 24 quid to get an instant report to tell you everything you need to know, it's a bargain. And I looked at him and I said, "Okay, have you got the logbook with you?" "Yes," he says. "Right, well, what do you actually want for it?" And he tells me, and I think, okay, that's more than a fair asking price. It was more than the offer that he had from the business online, which was low. And I looked at him and I looked at what I thought it was worth, and I said, I'll make you an offer, which I did, which is what he wanted plus 250 quid. Thought he was going to pass out on the spot. I think he'd undervalued it. Now I know that if we do the deal on this car and I fix everything I can see, if I wanted to sell it, there's still a decent healthy profit in it for me. And you don't go through life ripping people off. You treat them fair. So he was very happy to accept the offer. I said, come on, let's wander over to the pub, finish the deal. So we did. And while he was tucking into his beef sarnie and having a sip of Guinness, I transferred the money to him in his account, and then we transferred the ownership to me, and then I taxed it. 20 quid for the year. It would have been zero, but you know, after Rachel's recent fiscal policy review, it's gone up from 0 to 20 quid. But I can live with that. And the insurance, nothing. Well, when I say nothing, it was fairly cheap. And that's it. Deal's done. And I take him home. And as I drop him off, we realise he hasn't done any shopping. However, he can walk in with his head high and say to his good lady wife, I've sold the car and I got a lot more than you thought I was going to get when I walked out this morning. So, apart from him not having the shopping, he should be in her good books. And he's happy. And I'm happy. Treat people fairly. The problem is, I've now got to go and say, hello dear, I know I left to go shopping and I went in a Range Rover, but the Range Rover's still at the supermarket and I haven't done any shopping. But I have got this. How I'm going to explain it, I'm not sure. I found it injured at the side of the road, so I've brought it home. No, I might have used that one before. I think I'm going to have to donate some cash for shoe shopping. The old switcheroo, that sidetracker. Although, I'm a big boy, I can take a bollocking. Okay, here we go. Let's get on with it, I suppose. Wish me luck. Yes, dear. Thank you, dear. You're absolutely right, dear. I won't, dear. I told her. It went better than expected, as evidenced by the fact that I'm not homeless and I've still got both testicles. So the first thing is popping our diagnostics dongle into the OBD port, which is there, as the time has arrived for us to see if there are any error codes hiding to scare the life out of us. Can't imagine there are, but it's worth a look. Let's have a look. Oh, first of all, we've got oil change due coming up on the notification centre. Please add washer fluid on the notification centre. Anything else, or have you finished? Okay, and let's connect, shall we? If you're interested, this is the Topdon Topscan dongle, which is okay. It'll do the job for what we want on this Audi. It's not one that I'd use on a Range Rover. When it comes to Range Rovers, you need to use the gap diagnostic system. There's nothing close. But for the price, it's an entry-level diagnostic system. Tell you the error codes, and it'll do for this Audi. It's painfully slow. As this shows. Let's have a look. It's diagnostic scan, and it's doing its thing slowly. 2%. Right, well, while that's doing its thing, one of the issues with this car, it's not an issue for me, but one issue for this car is if you were selling it to a dealer or one of those buy any car businesses, it's only got one key, which is a big no-no, and panic stations. For me it's irrelevant, I'll just buy a second key. Still going, still going. Any other error messages? Nah. What's that telling me? No idea. I suppose I'm going to have to read the manual. Okay, so what have we got? What have we got? Well, we've got a... No, it's still going. An active fault. That's the headlight bulb. And some passive and inactive faults. One relating to the battery in the key fob. Two relating to the tyre pressure monitor system. And that's it. Result. Right, well, let's clear those, because I know the bulb's gone, so we're going to have to replace that. Have I got a battery for the key fob? Better have a look which one it is. And the tyre pressure system, I'm going to guess, is it's been activated in the past. So let's clear all that. That's pretty good then. Right. Beware of door safe locks. See owner's manual. Oh, oil change due. Oh, it's finished. That's not too bad then, is it? Right, let's have a crack of the bonnet and have a look under there. Oh, let's remove our dongle. Jesus, that is a dirty engine bay. My God, I wonder if this has been opened in the last year or two. Okay, that catch felt a bit stiff. Yeah, not surprised with all the crap in there. Right, we'll clean that up. Well, that clips out. It needs a bit of love and attention in here. Let's put it in the wheel. Yeah, it's just filthy. We've got some oil leaks there. That looks like it's where it's just been filled badly. Right then. So we'll clean this up before I start working on it. Jesus, it's in the state. Here you go. Have a look. That's a dirty girl. Before we start doing anything on that, we'll clean it up. There we've got some obvious damage. This carefully repaired with gaffer tape bumper is going to need to be investigated and come off and find out exactly what damage we've got. And the previous owner did have a quote to repair this for £450, which seems a bit excessive, so maybe they can see something I can't. The bracket's definitely snapped off, so we'll have to take it off and see what can be done with it. Tyres are good, alloys Don't seem to have been curved, but we won't know until we've cleaned them off. Okay, that's the obvious big bit of damage. We've got a dent there, which will be easy to sort out. Some scuffs there, which will also be easy to sort out. And we got some scuffs around this wheel arch, which may cut and polish out, and may not. Tyres are good there as well, missing a valve cover. And missing a valve cover off the front. And tyres, they look new. Got a crack in the windscreen, which makes it to the edge. Plenty of chips, that's quite a bad one. Couple in zone A. We're going to get that windscreen replaced. For sure. Drain holes are completely blocked. And we've got loads of scratches on the roof. But that just looks like it's in the clear coat. They'll come out easy enough. In regards to the interior, I would best describe it as filthy. The upholstery is going to need a bloody good clean, but there's no rips or tears in it. Just needs a good clean. Same story in the back really. Just all needs cleaning. Now, I've already opened the boot and I've found some interesting things in cars in my time, but this one was a surprise, so I'll share it with you. Are you ready? About 3 ton of chocolate, which is all in date, I think. Yep. And I'm going to have to unpack all that. Well, first things first, I better give him a call and see if he wants all his chocolate back. And if he doesn't, then I shall just donate it to whoever I come across that looks like they need cheering up. No need to vacuum, car foam freshener. Oh, that'll come in handy. That's another bonus. Yeah, I wonder if he wants his phone holder back. Ah well, we'll open that and dig through it and see what other treasures we can find when we get a bit more time. Yeah, that's a first. So let's change the headlight bulb. 5-minute job tops. It's a halogen H7, which conveniently I've already got one of those because it's used by loads of cars. BMWs, Audis, Kias, to name a few. 5-minute job. Take the dust cap off, reach in, locate that bulb holder, rotate it anti-clockwise, pop it out, pop in the new bulb, shove it back in, turn it clockwise, put the dust cover back on. Bob's your uncle. Old bulb. Put a Halford Special in. They look the same, similar. suppose we better check it works, haven't we? It works. Rotate it clockwise. Put its little cap back on. Okay, we have a functioning headlight. There you go. Gotcha. The things we do to decontaminate a car. Oh. Oh. What else we got down there? Oh my god. Oh, some money down there though. That's worth fishing out. Oh, I love doing vacuuming. Glove box, what have we got? Some paperwork. High performance satin dash shine. That'll come in useful. Cables. God, I don't even want to touch any of that. What's this? Caps for wheel nuts. Full set of caps for wheel nuts. Ugh. What paperwork have we got? Oh! Four-wheel alignment. When was that? 10th of September 24. That's useful. Some MOT certificates. When was this? 11th of September 24. So that was done the day before the test. What's this? Tyres and brakes. February 2020. That was a few years ago, wasn't it? Okay, onwards and upwards. You're not going to use the vacuum to clean the engine bay, are you? Of course not, dear. I wouldn't treat your cherished household appliances with such disrespect. Safe. So, having removed all the surplus dirt that we can with a brush and a vacuum, which is looking better already, we're now going to do the unthinkable. So, if you're triggered by seeing a jet washer pointing at an engine bay, you may want to avert your gaze from this next segment. A few sensible precautions. First of all, we're going to avoid the fuse box. We're not going to dwell on any electrical connections too long. Just swipe over it, make sure the dipstick's in tight. We don't want to be getting any water down there. Same with the cap, it's nice and tight. We'll avoid the alternator, which is down there. Other than that, let's swipe a lot. Oh yeah, we're going to do this as well. Let's do it. multi-purpose cleaner. A little bit at a time, clean it off as we go. Let's let that dry off a bit. Will it start? Oh my god, we'll find out in a minute. Now, as our engine bay is almost entirely populated with plastic, we can use some interior detailer to bring it up. Look at that sun on it, steaming it away. The steam coming off is just from the sun. The engine's cold. That'll do me. I'm not after a £400 detailed engine bay, just after a clean engine bay. So now we can actually see the coolant expansion tank. We can see it's overfilled, which is a bad thing. Too much coolant in your coolant system will build up too much pressure and put unnecessary strain upon your hoses and your gaskets, which is not good. And while this is not overly filled, it needs to take a bit out. Perfect. Not too bad. Make sure we've got some oil. Although technically, to check the oil level on this Audi A3, you've got to switch the ignition on, let it idle and warm up for a little bit, then check it. Let's just make sure we've got some. Oh, it's a little bit low. It's on minimum. We're going to need to put some oil in. Let's check that again. Yep, we're on minimum, so we've got to put a bit of oil in. Okay. Brake fluid, check. We've put some washer fluid in. I suppose we better check the actual washers work. Now we've got some fluid. Let's check the battery as well while we're here, shall we? Put a bit of oil in. W30. We're going to do a full oil change, so we'll just be putting this bit in for now. Let's see where that gets us to. Once it's made its way down to the sump, we'll check the dipstick. Perfect. We'll go with that. Battery lives in a lovely little house. Are you any good though? .54. That's good. I'll go with that. Very nice little house you live in. Well, will it start? Of course it will. First of all, I've been jet washing cars for about 35 years and I've never had one not start after I've done it. Mind you, this might be the first. Well, and secondly, it's German. It'll start. Never any doubt, was there? We'll just let it run for a few minutes. Heat through. Job's done. It's a clean engine bay. Not detailed, clean. That's all I'm after. Right, cup of tea time, innit? Now we've got some washer fluid in. Let's check the washer jets. Oh, that's not very good, is it? Left hand side we've got 2 of the 3 jets working. Driver's side we've got 1 of the 3 jets working. Oh, a little bit more maintenance under the bonnet. What a lovely design. Right, let's clean these out. Bit of compressed air. Very civilised design. Have we fixed the washer jets? Oh boy, have we. Except that one. It's cleaning somewhere over there rather than the windscreen. Slight adjustment needed for that one, I think. Passenger side's good. Tiny little adjustment there. And as I don't know anything about the state of the fuel system or what fuel's been used, we're going to treat it to its first dose of Cataclean diesel. Look at all the things it does. Cleans fuel tanks and lines, fuel injectors, combustion chamber, intake and exhaust valve, oxygen sensors, EGR valves, cat converter and diesel particulate filter. Now I reckon we've got about 15 litres of diesel in the tank, which is the perfect amount. So we'll pop this in and take it for a little bit of an Italian tune-up. So that's a fairly successful first day of ownership. We've assessed all the damage, we've run the diagnostics, we've got the correct level of coolant in it, we've now got some oil in it, we've made sure we've got brake fluid. It's all looking rather good. And now we've got some cataclean in the system. We'll take it for a bit of an Italian tune-up, which basically means taking it up to the red line and putting as much fuel through the system as we can. Clear everything out, let the cataclean do its job. What does it red line at? Oh, about 4,500 to 5,000 RPM. Oh, that's very sweet. And after we've used the remaining fuel and cataclean up, we'll pop off and fill it up with some Shell VMAX diesel, as the cleaning additives in that will certainly help the engine. We'll probably treat it to a couple of tanks actually. Now I'm conscious that I haven't fully revealed what my plans are for this vehicle. It's not for me. In fact, it's for all my family and friends, should any of them need it. Because what I've discovered, and I suspected would happen, is that none of them have got any intention of going out and buying a new vehicle, whether that's an ICE vehicle or an EV. They want to keep their current internal combustion engine cars going for as long as possible. This is obviously bad for car manufacturers, and it's obviously not going to be great news for the government. Mind you, I'm not quite sure what they thought was going to happen when they came on a tax raid for drivers. It makes no financial sense to buy a new vehicle of any variety, especially not an EV, whichever way you carve that up. It's just not financially viable. So they'll be continued to be sold on lease, business drivers, although from what I'm hearing that's a bit of a mess at the moment. But that's a whole nother subject. This car will go to anybody of my family and friends that needs it. Now, I help where I can fix their cars, something I can't do, but I'm always willing to have a go. I'm not the fastest worker, and once I've assessed it, I need to order parts and then do the job. But my prices are very reasonable because I want to be paid in cheesecake or chocolate. Sometimes I just want a thanks, and that's all that's required. But that does put quite a lot of pressure on them not having a car, because it's damn inconvenient not having a car, and it puts the pressure on me to get a job done quickly. So if I'm working on their car, they can now take this. Cheap to run, nice little vehicle once everything's done, and all I'll ask in return is that it comes back with a full tank of diesel, which is how it's going to go to them, and they insure it for the time that they've got it. Other than that, they can take it. Good plan, huh? I'm just such a nice guy, it's untrue. So we'll now take this for a little bit of a blast, and I think that might be it for day one of ownership. So the next time you'll see me with this vehicle is when I'm working on the outside, sorting out the scuffs and the scratches, which reminds me I need to order some colour match solvent paint, and taking off the bumper and finding out exactly what we've got to look forward to there. I'm quietly hopeful it's not going to be a massive job, but it needs sorting out, and we do need to absolutely clean within an inch of its life this upholstery, but we'll have to whip out the old Karsha 4001 to do that, but it'll come up lovely. And I think we've got a very good buy. I'm pretty pleased so far. So until the next time, take care.